Welcome back to these tutorials showing you how to navigate and use Unity. In the previous video we looked at materials and how you could actually put colors and textures onto the surface of an object. Now these objects that are in Unity are actually meshes, or sometimes we call them models. If you have a look in the scene view at the rendering, across the top there's a whole bunch of spheres. Now if you've got this last one selected here, which is the shaded draw mode, it's showing you the object as it is going to appear in your game environment. But if you want to see the mesh that's underneath that, you can select this wireframe draw mode. A wireframe represents the actual mesh of that object. In the case of this sphere, you can see that it's made up of a whole bunch of triangles, and it's probably easier if I unselect it so you can just see the wireframe. In here, you'll find there's a whole bunch of triangles that are all connected together that make a sphere in 3D space. The triangle itself has, obviously, 3 points. These points are called vertices. These vertices have coordinates in 3D space, and they represent a flat surface. So if I just zoom out a little bit and then come to the edge of this sphere, then zoom back in, you'll be able to see how these triangles are actually flat. Now this is the most efficient way to store the data that makes up this entire model, because a model isn't just like sphere. It is a file called sphere full of 3D coordinates which represent all of these vertices. Now there's as many different 3D file formats as there are 3D programs. The one that Unity uses is an FBX file. So that means that the file would be like sphere.fbx. So anything that you get in the Unity Asset Store will be compatible, obviously, but if you're getting it from outside, then you want to look for that specific type of file. The other two that will work as well are STL and OBJ files. Now to have a look at some of these different meshes, let's just go to one of my favorite 3D model websites, which is turbosquid.com. When you log in there, you'll find hundreds, possibly thousands of different models that you can choose from, and you can probably find one for your own needs. Now, over the years, I have used the free models. I've also actually bought models when I needed something specific. Let's have a look at the different types that you can see in here. So at the top of this page, we have a format. And we can actually click on that and have a look at the different formats. You'll see that there is a .unity package. So that's one of the ones we could actually use. And the other one is the FBX file. So let's see if it'll let us add that one as well. Okay, and then we'll be able to see these files that are available to us. So you want to sort of search down until you find something you kind of like, you want to put into Unity. Let's have a look at this chair, for example. I'm going to click on that chair and we'll have a look at the information that we get from it. Now over on the right, you'll see it lists the actual formats. There's 14 different formats you can get this chair in. And if we just go down a little bit, you'll see that there's a Unity version and there's an FBX version as well. Now this is an old Unity version. We're interested in the actual FBX version of that chair. Okay, so let's just download that chair. You'll have to be logged in, of course, so make your own account. Then you'll get this screen that pops up for your downloads. You can see that I've downloaded an awful lot of files over the years. But anyway, we want to get the old wooden chair 3, and we're looking for the FBX version, which is here. So it's just called fbx.zip. There's another one called old wooden chair fbx.zip. Let's go with that particular one there. So once you've downloaded your zip file, if we now go back into Unity, Meanwhile, I've downloaded the old wooden chair. Now, it's in a zip file. You'll have to unzip it if it is. And then inside you can see the files that I've got. So there's oldwoodenchair.fbx. This will be the file that specifies all of these vertices. Now, it doesn't just have the coordinates for these vertices, but it also has information about how the material will wrap around the surface. And you can see that included with this zip file is actually a whole bunch of textures that we can use to put onto the chair. Some of them might be familiar to you from the previous video that we did. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just move this folder out of view while I go back into Unity. And I'm going to come into Assets folder in my project. I'm going to right click, create a folder, and let's call it Models. Okay, so there's my Models folder, and we'll just open that up. So I'm going to select the wooden chair and the textures for that wooden chair and drag and drop it into Unity into the Models folder. Now, once that has all come in, we'll be able to use it. You might get a window that pops up saying that a texture must be marked as a normal map to import the settings, which is correct. So just go Fix Now for that. And then, if you're lucky, you'll see your model shows up as a little icon in the Models folder just down here. Now, the chair is like leaning sideways. It's not upright. And the reason being is that some modeling packages actually have their Y and their Z axes flipped around. So therefore you might get objects that aren't quite sitting the way you think. But that's okay because you know how to rotate objects in Unity. Okay, so since the last bit of video, my computer actually crashed and my sphere has now gone. So I'm basically in a new scene. If you want to create a new scene to continue following on, then in Unity we just go File and then New Scene to create one. Of course, if you want to clear out your scene, then you can come over to the hierarchy. Now, there was a sphere in here, so let me just show you how you get rid of it anyway. So let's just add that sphere back in, select it, and then just, hit delete, and that will get rid of it for you. So we're going to now bring our chair into our scene so we can use it in a game, for example. Just select it down in your Asset Models folder and drag and drop it into the scene just here. Now you'll notice that where you're looking at it in the scene, so I'm zooming in on it at the moment, if I hit the F key, then I can actually zoom straight in on the selected object. What you're seeing in the scene isn't the same as what you're seeing in the game view. Remember, the game view is what your game is going to look like when you actually produce it. And often in a game environment, you're going to be moving around in it, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like in here, or at least the point of view. But this is basically showing you what the final render will look like, so what your game will actually look like. So one thing you will initially see in this window is based on where we've got this free aspect click down here. Now, on some computers, by default, you might have low resolution selected, and what that will do is actually give you a low resolution sort of display in here, so you won't see like the crispness of it. And in this menu you can also see the different kind of layouts, which we're not really worried about right now. Okay, so what you want to do probably is to be able to see what the final rendered chair is going to look like in the game view. So what you could do is grab your main camera and actually move it around, right? So if we move it in the scene view, you can see how the game actually changes over there. But the more simple thing to do, and something that you might want to do quite often, is align the main camera to be looking in the game view just like you're looking in the scene view. So you select your main camera and then we come over to Game Object and Align with View, which you can also see is a Shift Control F or a Shift Command F if you're on a Mac. And if you click that, you instantly get the same view in your scene and your game window. Let's go back and have a look at the chair that has been added in. You can see that in the inspector, which shows you all the information about the actual chair, that at the bottom it has a material already attached to it. So in this case, because our textures folder is sitting right beside our actual model and we've dragged and dropped that into our scene, it's automatically picked up its actual textures as it was designed to do in the modeling package. Now, sometimes you will get an object come in that doesn't have any materials on it at all, yet you might have all of your textures. In the textures folder, you can see I've already created a texture here, or a new material called chair, that we're going to sort of show you how it would work if you ended up with a model that doesn't have any textures on it. Alright, so first of all, what you do in your textures folder is to right click, create, and you want to go material. And of course I've already done that over here, and I've renamed it chair. To rename something, you just have to do like a click on it like you would in a folder on your computer to rename a particular file, and you can rename it in there. Now we select the chair material and have a look over in the inspector. You can see that you've got the same sort of inputs that we've used previously that we can align all of these different textures to. First of all, let's actually put this new material onto our chair. You can drag and drop it from here onto the scene view, or you can drag and drop it from there onto the hierarchy, whatever you like, and that will set the material. So let's just drag it and put it down there. So you can now see that it is completely white, which is this base default material. Over in the inspector at the bottom, you've actually got an default preview of what your material is going to look like. So you can look at your material even if you're not looking at it on a particular object. All right, so now we're going to look at these different surface inputs, which are our textures at the bottom, and align them to these different values. Now at this point, because of this particular view, you can't really tell which one of these textures is which. I will, just because I understand textures, be able to guess that that must be the base map or the diffuse map or albedo, has a few different names, and that this blue one here is going to be your normal map, because normal maps always look kind of blue. But thankfully we don't have to guess what they are if the person who developed the model has done their job properly and named their files. To see the file names properly, because here you can only see part of it, if you come down into this bottom right hand corner of your project window, you'll see this little slide bar, and you can slide it to change the size of what you're seeing inside of that particular window. If you go right down to the bottom level, you end up with just the file names, and you can see we've got our albedo, our ambient occlusion, so that's for shadows, metallic, normal, and we have a roughness as well. Very important to remember that the textures that you get here might not be exactly the same as the textures that you need in this particular material. So because this wasn't created for Unity, because it was created in a modeling package that's actually available elsewhere on the web, it doesn't mean you're going to get all the correct textures, but you should get sort of enough that you can work with. So let's first of all grab the albedo and put it over onto the base map. Now, if you're following along at this point, you might want to actually pause the video and give this a go yourself to see if you can align these textures into the right place. Okay, so the metallic map, there's one here called metallics on there. We now have, what have we got here? We've got a normal map, so let's drag the normal map onto there. And we have an occlusion, which is this AO, ambient occlusion. Let's grab that and drag that onto the occlusion. And last we have, in this particular case, a height map. Now, we don't have anything down here called height map, but we could use this roughness one, because roughness in a texture is kind of like the height of the surface of it, or the different heights over the surface of it. So if we grab roughness, we can drop that into the height map. Again, if you add in a texture and it doesn't look good, just take it out. You don't need it. Okay, games are all about what it actually looks like, not about being absolutely correct. So from there, we've got all our textures applied. We can actually then play around with these values here. And I'll let you do that basically in your own time. To make something more metallic, you can use that. As you can see, it gets shinier, extremely shiny down here. Looks very polished. And it depends, I guess, what the look of that particular chair is. Okay, so I'm going to leave this video here. Now you know how to grab a model from elsewhere on the internet and its textures. Again, if it doesn't actually have any textures with it and it's just white, then do feel free to go online and just find other textures and try and use them and put them onto your object.